Vanderbilt ready to show its black and gold, but always tough to hold down home court when Big Blue comes calling. But the Commodores hoping for a little memorial magic tonight. It's been a rough start to the season for Vanderbilt, and Kentucky rolls in with its latest batch of talented freshmen. Kentucky and Vanderbilt getting set to square off in Nashville. Welcome to Thursday Night Showcase, presented by T. Rowe Price. You are watching the SEC on ESPN tonight from Venerable Memorial Gym in Nashville. Home to the Commodores for more than 60 years, and tonight Vanderbilt takes on the Kentucky Wildcats. These two teams met 3 times last year, including a classic in the championship game of the SEC tournament. Darius Miller knocked down the jumper for the Cats, and Kentucky seemed poised to pull away for a 3rd straight time. But Jeffrey Taylor had a team-high 18. And then freshman Kedron Johnson, a daring drive, the 3-point play to put the Commodores up for good, 71-64. An emotional victory for Commodore head coach Kevin Stallings, who finally broke through against the Wildcats in a big spot. Our one-on-one, take a look at the starting lineup from that tournament championship game in New Orleans. A lot of names that you see playing in the NBA now. The names on the front of the jerseys will say Kentucky and Vanderbilt tonight. The names on the backs will be decidedly different. Tonight's starting lineups, a lot of new faces. Kentucky, despite all the talent that they've had in the freshman class in recent years, starting 4 freshmen for the first time ever this season. Vanderbilt does have Kedron Johnson, who played a minor role in the championship game against the Cats last year. He is back. Everybody else stepping into new roles. More than 88% of Vanderbilt's scoring from last year is gone, including their top 6 scorers. Glad to have you with us. The SEC on ESPN. Reese Davis and Bob Knight, we're going to be with you on Thursday nights all season long. These two teams look completely different from the teams that were the top of the SEC a year ago. What do you expect to see?
Well, I think obviously you've commented on how they both start out with a lot of young kids playing, but as you look over the schedules thus far that both teams have played, neither has beaten a really contending team thus far. And yet, that being said, Kentucky has a very, very good statistical margin. Free throws, rebounding, everything statistical. A great margin over the opponents that they've played thus far. Far better margin than Vanderbilt has had over the teams that it has played, which leads me to believe that Kentucky basically has thus far been a little bit tougher to play against, playing better basketball than Vanderbilt has.
Vanderbilt's had a lot of trouble scoring. Kentucky hopes that they are starting to turn the corner and emerge and find some maturity from those freshmen. There is John Calipari, one of 2 coaches to lead 3 different teams to the Final Four. He broke through and won a national championship last year. Now, just a few moments ago, we've been talking about the new faces and the youth. Calipari and Kevin Stallings met just a few feet away from us. Listen to what they said.
How do you like coaching young teams?
When it's trouble. You're used to it.
Yeah, I'm used to it. I'm used to my hair. I mean, I'm going to look like you.
No, you don't want to say that. No. You don't want to look like me. Come on.
Well, so far, John's hair might be turning a little bit grayer, but at least it's staying on top of his head. Kevin Stallings has tried to piece together some guys that can find the basket. Vanderbilt has long been noted for its great shooting, but they're a poor free throw shooting team. 3-point shooting's been a little bit hit and miss, but nobody in the history of Vanderbilt basketball has won more in this gym than Kevin Stallings. He just passed Roy Skinner with his 182nd victory last time out when the Commodores beat William and Mary. There is Kedron Johnson. He is the leading scorer for this Vanderbilt team in nearly 17 points per game. He's top 10 in the SEC. Archie Griffin also in the Archie Goodwin, I should say. I knew I would do that at some point. Your Ohio State buddy. Archie Goodwin, leading scorer for the Wildcats, and we're underway. And this is Ryan Harrow, the transfer from North Carolina State. Freshman Willie Cauley-Stein and Nerlens Noel. And Noel turns it over. Johnson has it.
That's a good sign, though, even though they had a turnover. Kentucky got the ball inside on its first possession. He just fumbled away an opportunity to score, but thinking about going inside was good.
This is Rod Odom with the ball. Stallings would like to get some more offense from him. Good long-range shooter despite his size. Kyle Fuller.
Kentucky doesn't do a lot of switching, but they help well.
Offensive rebound from Kevin Bright. Bright, a first-year player from Germany, working the offensive boards. It's something Kentucky's improved on. If you watched the Maryland game early in the season, it was a vexing problem. Vanderbilt's 0 for 2 from 3. Willie Cauley-Stein pulls down the board.
Well, I never like to start the game shooting threes. I like to start the game getting the ball inside like Kentucky did, and we'll see what happens here.
Cauley-Stein has a much smaller Kyle Fuller on him. Kyle's only given away about a foot. Getting some help from Henderson. Now Harrell's going to shoot, and Harrell's been playing much better of late, and he has the first points of the night. It's a triple for the Wildcats.
Really got set up well for the shot. That kid does, I was watching him in warm up recent. He does a really good job of every shot he takes in warm up. He gets his feet set, his head is in front of his feet. Really got good technique in shooting.
Pass from Josh Henderson to Fuller inside, and Fuller crashed into by Noel. And the big freshman will be called for his first foul of the night.
One of the things he'll have to learn, and what that Noel will have to learn, is the ability to block a shot without moving your feet. Getting close, getting your hands up, and then not moving any part of your body except your hand, breaking your wrist as you get a piece of the basketball. But anytime you go at the guy, you're going to get a piece of your body, and it's going to result in a foul.
Johnson went opposite of the screen set by Josh Henderson. Now Henderson's front of the rim. Now it's Poitras, a freshman from close by to Nashville, getting the first rebound and taking his first shot, and earns Noel on the offensive board. Good look from Noel. Poitras couldn't handle it. Vanderbilt got a hand on it. Now Fuller's going the other way. Fuller to the basket.
They did a great job in converting from defense to offense. Much better job going the other way. And that usually is the case in a fumble play like that. The offense gets there quicker than the defense does.
Poitras trying to go to the basket, and the freshman is called for the offensive foul.
That was a classic example there, Reese, of getting, we're going to see it here, help coming to the middle, help really doing a good job on the play after this one, doing a great job of shutting off the drive.
Not quite played 3 minutes, and Kentucky's already turned it over 3 times with the charge from Poitras counting as a turnover. Now Vanderbilt's turned it over for the first time. Harris got Noel.
Harris slowed down as soon as, that's a great play by a guard. As soon as he saw the big kid, Noel, coming 15 feet away from him, he had no thought of going to the bucket. He was going to get it up in the air, so it wound up in an easy dunk shot. It was a great thought by the guard, Harris.
Harris played much better. He missed 4 games early in the year with an illness, and since he's come back and sort of played the way Calipari would like for him to play, Kentucky has played much better, and Johnson has his first bucket. It's 5-4. Poitras, good move all the way inside. Now it has his first deuce.
That was an example of Kentucky's offense getting down the floor a lot quicker than Vanderbilt's defense did. A pass, a drive, doing both of those things, the defense should have been there quicker.
7-4, Wildcats have the lead. Odom tried to use the shot fake, but shuffled the feet, and he'll be called for the travel.
Good call. Good call on walking early in the game. Okay, here we're going to see, watch him slow down right there, realizing that he's got an easy bucket if he does so. Didn't try to push anything, waited on his big guy to come in for the dunk.
Good one. For his first bucket, it's a 2. Archie averaging nearly 16 points per game, and Kentucky has a 5-point lead early. Cats have hit 4 of their first 5 shots. Maturing team, it hasn't always gone well on the road. Had a rough night at Notre Dame in Louisville, but Vanderbilt not quite at that level as Odom has his shot rejected as he goes for the drive. And Kentucky has gotten off to a good start on the road. Harrow on the push. 4 different Cats have scored. Noel is the one with the dunk.
Well, here's how it ended. Michigan State and Iowa. Iowa had a chance here. They will eventually launch a three to tie it, and it misses everything. And Michigan State trailing most of the game. Tom Izzo shaking his head, relieved. They do get a win on the road, 62-59. They improved to 13-3. Iowa off to a rough start, needs a win like that. They don't get it. Arizona jumped out to a 9-0 lead. Oregon starting to chip away at home. It's 13-10. Good game over on ESPN2. Night of great college basketball. And with that, we send it back to
All right, Carl, back here in Nashville. Kentucky's hits 4 of its first 5 shots. They have a 9-4 lead on Vanderbilt. And as you start to look at the point guard for Kentucky, how Ryan Harrow, as I mentioned, he missed 4 games because of illness, but over his last 4, playing nearly 33 minutes, averaging about 17 points per game. And he's given a real fluidity to this Kentucky offense. Shelby Moats is into the game, and he promptly has his shot blocked away by the Wildcats.
See how Harrell stopped the ball right there? He didn't try to force a pass. He held up, and had gone get into offense. As we were talking a moment ago, Reese, Kentucky is going to be a very, very good offensive team by the end of the year because they have a lot of, they look a lot for each other. They move around a lot.
You like the way they got the ball inside immediately. You see some movement, and Poitras perhaps a little bit anxious as a freshman. He's playing in front of a lot of family and friends tonight. A highly touted recruit who chose Kentucky over Vanderbilt. He's a guy who Calipari has tried to get more out of. He's trying to teach him to work harder, to push beyond his limits, because they believe that he has the talent inside him to be among those outstanding young players that Kentucky's had in recent years, but he doesn't quite have that motor yet that a Michael Kidd-Gilchrist had last year. But then again, not many people do. He was sort of an exception. Vanderbilt turns it over.
One of the things he'll really have to work on is footwork. He had a good opportunity to drive there, but if we were to show it again, we'd see that without any question, he moved both feet on the drive. You've got to use a fake foot and a driving foot. Your fake foot tries to get the defense going in one direction. You use the fake foot to step again. It's not walking, and you push off the driving foot.
And Alex is going to have a seat. Julius Mays, number 34, is checked in for Big Blue. He's a senior transfer from Wright State. Goodwin had his feet set again. A little bit long. Odom and Johnson were fighting for it. Goodwin took it away, and Noel flushes it.
Goodwin did a great job recovering from what was basically a poor shot under pressure. And he didn't worry about missing the shot. He just went right after the ball. That's about as good a hustle play as I've seen.
Johnson pulls up. He's off the back iron, and Vanderbilt was hoping to avoid scoring droughts, but the Commodores appear to be in the midst of one, down 7, and the Wildcats have the ball.
Kentucky's done a really good job with those guards, looking for what's out there, taking advantage of it. If in conversion there is something, if not, they're going to work till they get something that they can score with. Mays
missed the 3, and Vanderbilt hasn't scored nearly 3 minutes. They're 0 for their last 4. Sheldon Jeter's checked into the game, number 21. He had a good game against William and Mary last time out, scoring 14. Dejon Parker is into the game, number 24. Dejon's an athletic guy. He served an 8-game suspension for a violation of team rules. He's starting to work back into the rhythm in the Vanderbilt rotation.
Vanderbilt's almost, and that's another good call. It's 3 good walking calls, but Vanderbilt is in a situation where they're a little bit afraid to go to the bucket with it. Here, look
at that play by Archie Goodwin.
Well, he knew where Noel was. You know, Kentucky's doing a really good job of knowing where each other is and what they can do with a pass. Vanderbilt has kind of relegated themselves to an outside approach to offense.
Noel threw it away. He was looking for Kyle Wiltshire, who just checked into the game. Wiltshire, good inside-outside player, most noted for his three-point shooting. And you're looking at Noel. He's done a great job on the boards. Very good block shots. And in fact, the steals, top 15 in the country. And should he keep up this pace at a little over 2.5 steals per game, he would have a shot at breaking Rajon Rondo's freshman steal record at Kentucky. The Orleans would need 87 of them. We've still got a ways to go. Keegan Johnson still can't get it to go, and there's a lid on the basket for Vanderbilt. Harrow over Johnson, and he scores. What a teardrop rain bringer for Ryan Harrow, and he has 5.
You know, he didn't see a pass. He was looking for a pass, which has to be first in a break. And then he came to a stop, so he had room to go over the defensive man with the shot.
Now 4 minutes since the Commodores have scored. The left-hander Shelby Moats tries to change that, and he does. It's a 2, but Vanderbilt will sure take it right now.
What I'd like to see now is Vanderbilt comes down with the same thing, only they get a shot faking a drive on the baseline.
Harrow feeling it, maybe forced it. That's all right. Noel had the rebound. Nerlens wanted a foul. Was knocked out of bounds by the Commodores, and the Cats will retain possession underneath their own basket. Here's Ryan Harrow seeing the floor, Coach.
Really good. He comes to a stop all the way down the court. Like we said before, he's looking for somebody to get open. When there wasn't anybody, he just pulled up and had a nice soft touch over the defense.
Noel's going to get a break. Willie Cauley-Stein, the 7-footer's back in. He's got it under the basket, and he's got an easy one.
How about the pass, Reese? How about catching it and looking and knowing where the guy was going to be open? That kid really pays attention to what's going on out there. We said that right from the beginning.
Commodores down by 9. Loose on the floor. Mays fighting for it, and they're going to call a jump ball.
Kentucky switched really well there. Did a really good job on the switch and got it tied up so there was no chance to score.
Wildcats off to a good start. Been fairly crisp offensively. Kentucky up 15-6.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by T. Rowe Price. Understanding the connections of a complex global economy. Invest with confidence. And in part by Toyota Care. Caring for you and your car.
Thing for you, maybe 5 assists.
There's the SEC championship trophy. Spoils of victory for Vanderbilt, but a much different Commodore team this year as Kevin Stallings is rebuilding. Kentucky has a 15-6 lead. Some good guard plays been the key inside the play for the Cats.
We're going to look here. Pass is going to come out. Going to be a slide to the bucket right here in a moment. Here it comes. Watch Harrow with the ball. Looking for him to get open. His big guy inside. And it's a good play by the inside man, but it can't happen unless the guard's paying attention to what's going on.
Kentucky scored 10 of the last 15 points. 6 of those points coming on dunks, including the one you saw from Cauley-Stein. A missed shot by Bright. Ball lost out of bounds, and it'll stay on this end.
Kentucky thus far, to show their ability with the ball, has 5 assists, and Vanderbilt has 1. So Kentucky is looking and getting the ball in position to score better than the Commodores.
Johnson all the way to the cup.
Now that's a situation where Kentucky's big kids have got to move on the dribble, and nobody did. They kind of are a little bit stagnant there.
Harrow has it, and he's wide open, and he knocks it down. Ryan Harrow is playing some terrific basketball.
You know what's really good in basketball? Is a guard that can shoot and pass. And I mean, he can do both.
You know, Harrow is the guy who transferred from North Carolina State. And early this year, in addition to having an illness, Calipari wasn't really thrilled with the way he was playing. Another drive and a tip in from Moats. Calipari spent some time individually with him, one-on-one, working him after practice, pushing him a little bit, and his performance has transformed over the last 4 games. He's hoping to do the same with Alex Poitras, who we saw get off to a little bit of a struggling start tonight. As Harrow, a little bit of a mix-up, he had to call a timeout.
Well, now when Moats slipped in and got that bucket right there, it's the second bucket that Vanderbilt has gotten on second effort, and Kentucky's got to shut that out.
ESPN Saturday Showcase features an ACC doubleheader. We're going to start it at noon. Mason Plumlee, what a great season he's having, leading Duke against C.J. Leslie and North Carolina State, a top 20 matchup. Then at 2 o'clock Eastern, James Michael McAdoo, North Carolina, losing at home just before us tonight against Miami, taking on Michael Snare and Florida State. Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. Duke, NC State, North Carolina, Florida State. It all follows the first home game edition of College Game Day, which will be this Saturday before we hit the road the following week. Go to Butler, Hinkle Fieldhouse for Gonzaga and Butler. I've never been to Hinkle Fieldhouse before. One of the great venues in the sport.
Yeah, it's been remodeled a little bit in the last couple years. I think 2 different times they've done some things to it, but it still retains the atmosphere that was there when Tony Hinkle, one of basketball's, one of coaching's all-time great guys. He coached football, basketball, and baseball. Norm Ellenberger, who was an outstanding coach at New Mexico, played all 3 sports for Tony at Butler.
That'll be on the 19th when College Game Day hits the road for the first time. We're looking forward to getting the band back together on Saturday before Duke and North Carolina State square off in the Saturday Showcase. Here in the SEC, Wildcats up by 7. Noel all the way and using the left hand nicely.
Little move, little good head fake. Noel made a little head fake there, got himself a half a man's room, and Vanderbilt failed to close. We talk so much about that help defender. That defender away from the ball has got to be there to help.
Hey, John Parker. Parker's had trouble shooting it. Kevin Bright, another offensive rebound, the freshman from Germany. Parker again. Now Keaton Johnson loses it, falling down. Goodwin's ahead of the pack. Can they stop him? He missed a layup. Goodwin takes a spill, but not enough contact to call a foul.
Goodwin had to stop short. He had too much explosion going there. He couldn't hang on to it.
Parker couldn't hit the 3. Shelby Moats with the rebound, and now Parker working on Julius Mays.
Kentucky's doing a really good job of helping out.
Moats driving and missing. Bright with the rebound out to Odom. Vanderbilt trying to swing it. Johnson going to shoot it, and it's a brick. Ball goes out of bounds. And it's a frustrating turn of events for Vanderbilt as they're 0 for 6 now from 3. And remember, since the inception of the three-point shot, look, we have plenty of time to go here. 29 minutes and 10 seconds. Three-point shot implemented in 1986. Vanderbilt has hit a 3 in every game they've played. UNLV's played more games. They too have hit them all. 844 consecutive games. Kentucky's made one in 840 straight. But Vanderbilt's never had a game in which they haven't made a three-pointer. Very early, they have missed their first 6 tonight. Oh, they had a game against Marist this year. Bob, they scored 33 points, but their first bucket of the night was a 3. So they at least got the streak out of the way early.
Well, the thing that I've been most impressed about in the game thus far from either team is how Kentucky has moved to help. They've switched a little bit, and they've switched well. They've been difficult for the Commodores to get anything good against, like right there was an example.
Odom missed the shot, and Poitras rebounded. Now, would you like to see Moats? It was a pretty good look to the inside, and he was unable to get the shot up. Would you like to see him position himself in a way so he can take a shot when he gets it in that time?
Well, I think when they get the open shot, they've got to do something with it. But even though Kentucky has got a quickness and size advantage inside, they've still got to go inside, they being Vanderbilt, to do something to get to the free throw line.
Alex Poitras with a turnaround jumper, and he has 4, and Kentucky has stretched its lead to 11. Fuller rolls around the rim, won't go. Moats fights for the rebound, but Mays beats him to it.
Now, Vanderbilt just missed a good shot right there. It wasn't really anything that Kentucky did as much as what Vanderbilt didn't do on that possession.
Poitras was driving, and he's fouled by Moats, who tried to get over and draw the charge.
Well, as soon as the ball is put on the floor, all right, here we're going to see a moment ago. Really good inside move, little fake to the right hand, come back to the left hand for your right hand shot, and just perfect movement inside. Good look on the pass.
Poitras leads the SEC in field goal shooting. Just about the same from the free throw line. He had 64% from the floor and a little under 66 from the free throw line.
From Vanderbilt's standpoint, and any time, Reese, that the ball is near the baseline with an opportunity to either go high or low in a drive to the bucket. The defense on the other side of the basket, or the near defense, has got to be ready to shut that off. And then defense has to come back and take that place. So if somebody's open, it's at the top of the key, and you don't let them go to the free throw line or get a drive bucket if you have the right movement defensively.
Well, Kentucky's had enough of on their end of the floor, the right movement defensively. Vanderbilt's having all kind of trouble scoring. Rod Odom was going to the bucket, and a whistle on the inside.
Now, it hasn't all been Kentucky defending the inside against Vanderbilt. It's Vanderbilt being kind of a little bit spooky about taking a shot in there. They're not just going in there with much confidence, and I think that's the first time they've drawn the two-shot foul. And I've marked down here that they have thus far missed 6 shots within layup range during the game thus far.
Rod Odom makes his first free throw, and for Vanderbilt fans who've been watching all year, that's a story in and of itself, especially when they go 2 for 2. The Commodores have been a horrible free throw shooting team, making less than 58% on the year. Odom, one of their better free throw shooters, and he just was shooting 63% coming in, but he knocks down a pair to trim the Wildcat lead back to 10. Shot clock headed to 10. Archie Goodwin guarded by Parker. Goodwin gets by him on a contact, and the freshman all the way to the bucket.
It's just what we were talking about. The defensive man to his left just stayed there and watched. He might as well had a camera instead of sneakers.
Somebody needs to call help. Get those puppies moving. Odom rejected by Noel, and Kentucky has a chance to run. Vanderbilt gets back to slow him down. Poitras trying to turn the corner on Odom. A little bit of a wild pass. Wiltshire with a fake. He missed the layup. Tip. Wiltshire has it again. He'll go up, but he stepped on the baseline. Well, he might not be Anthony Davis, but you do have to bring it to the middle with a little caution when Nerlens Noel is patrolling the middle. Odom went up, Noel rejected it, and the Kentucky defense is stifling the Commodores. Wildcats by a dozen. Quantity of shots is not the problem for the Commodores. Vanderbilt has attempted 4 more shots at Kentucky. The problem is they've made 6 fewer, and as a result is 24-12 as Kevin Stallings is completely rebuilding his team. They lost 88% of their scoring from a year ago. Their top 6 scorers are gone, and Kevin was saying that in the terms of structuring his team and building recruiting, he sort of anticipated John Jenkins being back for this year. Now, he hastened to point out Jenkins clearly made the right decision. He was a first-round draft pick by the Hawks. He's an excellent shooter, starting to work into the rotation in Atlanta, but it certainly has left Vanderbilt with some shooting struggles, and the Commodores now 5 of 22 on the night from the floor. Kentucky has a chance to build its biggest lead of the night. Goodwin going to be called for the offensive foul. Stepping in nicely was Josh Henderson, establishing his position. The Commodores, good defense that time.
That was a great situation of Henderson seeing where the drive was coming from, knowing that he had a good chance to take it out of the play, which he just did here. We're going to, right here, did a great job of taking away the lane.
Calipari that's a little frustrated, wanting to see a little more patience from his young guard, who has been a dynamic offensive force. Wildcats have turned it over 7 times tonight, but
boy, there isn't anything wrong with the coach getting up and getting on a player a little bit. Some people think there's something wrong with that. That's what good coaches do.
But what if the player is a delicate flower?
Well, then he should be in a garden.
I don't think Archie has that problem. Rod Odom, his pass Cauley Stein. Good deflection by the Wildcats, in Kentucky has a man advantage. Goodwin will pull it out along with Harrow, who's back in the game. Ryan,
I'm really impressed with the way Kentucky takes their time and they look for one another, and they're not in a hurry. They're not just coming down and throwing up a shot. They're working to get good shots. I think that we've mentioned it before. I think they're doing an extremely good job developing their team offensively.
Sheldon Jeter was called for the foul. How difficult is that when you have a lot of young guys, all of whom are used to being the focal point of an offense?
Well, I think that you talk about
those two big guys working together, Cauley Stein to Noel.
He just waited till the right moment to make the pass. I think when you have kids coming out that you've recruited, Reese, they're the best kid on their team, probably the best team in their league, probably the best player in the area. And now you've just got to sit them down and let them know what they can do, what they can't do, and work on what they don't do well. You can't just accept this kid for being an all-state player and think he's going to be a great college player. There's a lot of work that comes into going from high school to college.
Wildcats have their biggest lead of the night at 14 and a chance to stretch it even further. Harrow on the push.
Oh, what a great offensive move that was, bringing it back out.
Harrow, it's not an air ball that time. Great hustle from Cauley Stein of Vanderbilt. Gets the loose ball.
He ruined my praise of that great hold-up with the bad attempt. Got to watch myself here.
They'll do it to you every time. Patience.
They're just not getting anything to go down, even when nobody got a piece of that one. I think they're really a little bit gun-shy going inside Vanderbilt because they have had so much trouble getting the ball up on the board.
They haven't had a field goal in more than 6 minutes. Good one. Now they're for Cauley Stein, and moving underneath him is Rod Odom. And Rod's going to be called for the push.
Again, something offensive here about Kentucky. Goodwin looks for that. Did you see him nod his head a little bit? The pass wasn't the best pass of all, but it got the job done. Kentucky's got a chance to get 2 out of this because Goodwin saw an opportunity for a cut to the basket.
With Cauley Stein, not a great free throw shooter, and that's putting it mildly. He's less than 37%, but he is the reigning SEC Freshman of the Week. Here's Goodwin, Coach.
Yeah, he's just holding it, and he's waiting for the cut to be made, puts the ball on, sends his teammate to the free throw line for a crack at 2. Kentucky early here, that's not real early in the season. You know, they're going into conference play now. But these kids do a very good job in looking for each other and in knowing where each other is. And then, like Goodwin made a little head move, getting some help from the guy going to the bucket, and it ended up in the free throw line.
Cauley Stein hit 1 of 2. Vanderbilt's field goal drought is extended past 6.5 minutes until it's finally ended by Keegan Johnson.
Well, now that was the first time that Kentucky has not really moved to get pressure on the drive.
Harrow the feed to Cauley Stein, the flush and 1. Another good look from Ryan Harrow. That'll be his 3rd assist of the night. Willie Cauley Stein, those big long arms that he used to catch 16 touchdown passes as a receiver in football. And now he's on the receiving end from Harrow. The flush and 1. Wildcats up by 15 late in the first.
I'm Carl Ravitch. Bruce Pearl will join me for the UPS halftime report. Arizona jumped out to a quick start against Oregon, and now all of a sudden they're doing what they do best, get in trouble. Will they be able to dig out and stay unbeaten? Also, the Canes go to Chapel Hill. Hello, North Carolina, 0-2 in the ACC. What happened the last time they started an ACC campaign that way? We'll tell you at the break.
No matter where Kentucky plays in the SEC, Big Blue Nation comes and scarfs up some tickets. They come young and old to watch their beloved Wildcats. Kevin Stallings' team, Bob, looks completely overmatched right now. And as we see Willie Cauley Stein, who's played a terrific first half. The big fella, the 7-footer with 4 assists already, and just had his struggles at the free throw line. But as Vanderbilt takes the ball, what can they do offensively?
Well, I think they've got to get the offense up higher. They've got one of the big kids up high, and they don't take it to them on the bucket. See, that has to be a shot fake there. That's a wasted opportunity, although Kentucky missed the block out. And I think it was Moats that was able to slip inside and get the bucket. But going back to your question, Vanderbilt's got to have some room to drive the ball from about 10 feet away. They've got to have some short jump shots. Taking it right in on them just hasn't gotten them anything. Get up off the baseline.
Mays that missed the jumper. Rod Odom on the drive. He goes over Wilcher and scores, and Vanderbilt is scratched back to within 11.
Now see that the defensive man came out that time, and so that gave you a chance to get past him, which is just what happened, and that's what they've got to do. Bring those guys up a little higher so you can drive past them instead of driving into them. There's a big difference against big guys in going into them and going past them.
Ryan Harrow continues to play well. He now has 9 points in the first half as he answers a couple of back-to-back Vanderbilt buckets. Odom for three. Moats active on the glass. Odom gets it. Dejon Parker for three, and it rattles out. Odom another chance. It's blocked by Mays, out of bounds. Vanderbilt will keep the ball.
On both of those threes, there was a great chance for the shot fake. See, I think that makes Vanderbilt at this point 0 for 8 or 0 for 9 shooting threes. And shot fake, go past him. You're playing 5-on-4.
The underutilized weapon. Guys get sweet around that three-point line, especially a team like Vanderbilt. Nearly 42% of their shot attempts come from behind the arc. There is a shot fake. Moats tried to go over the top, and that is not going to work. Sixth block. Cauley Stein and Noel, maybe even Poitras got it. Poitras just put his shoulder down and ran right over Parker, and he'll be called for the offensive foul.
Good call.
That's a couple on Poitras. Well, Shelby Moats used the shot fake well here, Bob, but then a little bit overmatched. Cauley Stein, Noel, and Poitras, I think all got a hand on it.
Well, watch him now. He's going to go, if we run that back, he's going to go right into three, right there. He's right into three guys. He's got drop-off passes right and left. He did a good job of bringing people to him, but he's got as much chance of getting that bucket as I got catching trout in Sugar Creek.
And apparently the fishing in Sugar Creek didn't go well.
Not good.
Were you 0 for?
No, not 0 for. I didn't get shut out.
I think Shelby's going to get shut out if he keeps trying to dunk it over those three guys. 31-18.
Look at Noel sitting back there. Let the guy get by him. All right, shot fake. Shot fake.
Vanderbilt is now 0 for 10 from behind the arc. Kentucky with the ball and a 13-point lead as we're headed down toward a minute and a half to go. That was almost a Euro step looking move from Archie Goodwin, and the Wildcats are up by 15.
When a driver has the ball on one side or the other, Reese, and starts to the bucket, the entire defense has to switch past the bucket and make him throw it back out. If the defense doesn't switch, a driver right there is an advantage. And he looks out, and this will be a three.
Johnson for three, and the streak is alive. Vanderbilt hits a three-pointer, their 845th consecutive game. So at least that's out of the way, and now the Commodores can concentrate on trying to get back in this thing. Well, 1 for 11 from three. Goodwin well off the mark. Fuller.
I think that John was a little bit upset with that three being taken.
What a tremendous pass by Cauley Stein, I believe, is a little bit slow to get up. It's Ryan Harrow. That was a tremendous outlet pass. Look at the deflection by Noel, and then Cauley Stein. What a great look.
They drew the foul. Really good move at that end. Shook up a little bit. Yeah, they did a great job on the defensive end getting rid of the ball and starting to break. That's another thing that Kentucky will just get better and better at.
Well, Harrow hasn't turned the ball over. He's been good for 3 assists, and now he's into double figures with 10 points. Don't miss a double dip of NBA action Friday on ESPN. 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Joakim Noah leads the Bulls against Carmelo and the Knicks. Then at 10:30 Eastern Time, Kevin Durant and the Thunder in Staples Center against Kobe Bryant and the Lakers. NBA Friday presented by State Farm. Coverage starting with Kia NBA Countdown at 7:30. Bulls and Knicks, Thunder and Lakers.
They lose a little bit of quickness inside when Wilcher comes in the ball game, but he is a very tough kid and does a lot for them, whether he has the ball or not. Does a great job rebounding.
Jared Polson is checked in for the Wildcats. Willie Cauley-Stein getting a break. Coach mentioned Wilcher's on the floor along with Noel, Mays, and Harrell.
There isn't anything better than a guard that can shoot free throws because he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot and driving and so forth, and a kid that can stick it in from the free throw line as a guard. Big advantage.
And Vanderbilt is down by 2 touchdowns.
Wilcher came out real well defensively there. He's going to help here. Kentucky's kind of mixing it up a little bit. They got a little zone in what they do. The big guys very smartly.
Odom rattles in the 3.
And he did a good job going over Wilcher. Wilcher didn't quite go out far enough on him. He went out to let him know he was there. But when guys shooting the 3, go right into his belt. Don't let him have a chance to go up with his head in front of his feet. Make him be leaning backwards.
Final seconds of the first half. Harrell's going to have to force one up. It's no good. Bright gets it. He'll heave it from the back, but if we had a whistle. Or did Kevin Stallings call a timeout? I think he did. But Kevin had to use one before halftime anyway, so he'll try to set up a play. And certainly there's a long way to go and only a second and a half. But should Vanderbilt find a way to get one to go in, they could get this thing to single digits by halftime. But the 11-point lead at the moment is largely because of the Kentucky guards.
I don't think there's any question about that. I think the Kentucky guards took one ill-advised shot during the course of the first half. Other than that, they've really looked well for people. And it isn't just the guards looking well, but it's their inside guys, Reese, looking to get open, working to get into a spot where they can be fed and then do something with the ball.
Harrell and Goodwin have combined for 17 points and 4 assists in the first half, and a couple of hustle plays from both. And Tony Green is over here looking at the monitor right now as you take a look at the field goal shooting in the first half. Kentucky's doubled up Vanderbilt. They're going to see exactly how much time the Commodores have remaining here to try to set up a final play. And
these last two buckets that all right, going to look at this one to see whether time has expired or not.
1.5 is what they're showing now. And see if we could tell exactly when Stallings was granted the timeout. Bright was just heaving it. Didn't know the coach was trying to stop the clock.
Well, I'll tell you something that was incredibly important was the fact that I think they'd gone about 0 for 10 from threes, and then they did hit 2 threes. Now let's look at the margin of this game without those 2 threes that they hit here in the last couple of minutes. That they've been lifesavers for them actually going in at the half.
So they'll get 0.4 of a second added. 1.9 left as Ashley Judd, one of the leading connoisseurs of Kentucky basketball. Here.
This will be like trying to beat Seabiscuit right here.
Odom would get the shot away, and Ryder hit a 3-pointer last time, couldn't get it to bank in, and Kentucky takes a 35-24 lead to the break, and the Wildcats are unbeaten this season when leading after the first 20 minutes of play, 9-0. The Wildcats have been on the run. The freshmen have been on display. They have a 35-24 lead. Time to send you to Carl Ravitch and Bruce Pearl in the studio for the UPS halftime report.
Jace, Bob, thank you. And barring a 180, they're going to stay unbeaten. That's not really a close game. UPS halftime report here. Bruce Pearl, Carl Ravitch. This is a close game, or at least it was. Arizona and Oregon. Number 4, Arizona, unbeaten. Oregon, unbeaten at home. First half, how about Arizona jumping out to a 9-0 lead?
You got to get off to a good start on the road to have a chance to win, but Oregon comes storming back.
Dominique Artis lays that one in, and Oregon has got a 16-13 edge. Oregon grabs a 20-19 lead when Artis fades away. And this is about the pace of the game, too. Off the window, E.J. Singler, brother of Kyle Singler, here.
Arizona has got to make this a half-court game and pound inside. The tempo's too high for this Arizona team to be successful. Oregon's really good in transition.
41-30 is the score there. We welcome you, everyone, inside the UPS halftime report. So what we have is that game gone to half, and it's an 11-point game. This game is 35-24, and it feels like it could be 25 the way Kentucky really dominated the game.
We thought this was a possibility, Carl. We talked about this because Kentucky is very, very athletic, very talented. high percentage shots against Kentucky aren't necessarily balls closer to the basket. And, you can't make them any better. Nerlens Noel with the quick hands here. Ryan Harrow throws it up when nobody else can get it. Great offense from their defense by Kentucky.
You know what you can tell? They're having fun. This is the type of game Kentucky must enjoy playing.
It's a lot easier than practice. And Alex Poitras in there, posts up on the inside. Julius Mays with a nice bounce pass speed. And Vanderbilt's doing a good job. And Kevin Stallings getting him good looks. Rodney Odom gets the ball down in there deep. But Nerlens Noel says, not tonight.
There's really no easy shot against a defense that's so active, and you can see the made and the missed shot chart for Kentucky. They made a lot of shots outside the paint.
You've got to make open shots. You've got to try to get open shots because getting that ball in the paint is not necessarily a high percentage because of all of Kentucky's length.
Got to believe Calipari's pleased with the hustle, too. We saw a great play on a ball that was going out of bounds that they out-hustled Vanderbilt on. It looks like a varsity in a JV game. It's what it looks like.
This is what it's supposed to look like. I think this is what everybody anticipated. But keep in mind, Vanderbilt is in a rebuilding mode. This is not one of the stronger teams in the SEC. Last year, Vanderbilt did beat Kentucky in the SEC tournament, and that was a huge win for the Vanderbilt program. But there are 10 new players out there. Kentucky's are a lot better than Vanderbilt.
Is this a good barometer, Bruce, to say, hey, Kentucky's really coming, or is this not a good barometer?
This is not a good barometer, but I like the fact that they're playing well. The Louisville game was a barometer for me, Carl, because they were getting run out of the house, and they came back together. They rallied around their coach, and obviously they're improving.
All right, what's going on with North Carolina? We'll find out when we come back on this UPS Halftime Report. Showcase brought Miami to Chapel Hill. Miami left a winner. Carolina is in a position they've been in before, 0-2 in the ACC.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state.
Welcome back. Thursday Night Showcase presented by T. Rowe Price. You are watching the SEC on ESPN. The reigning SEC regular season champions, the reigning SEC tournament champions squaring off, though the faces are much different. Kentucky with a 35-24 lead at the half, just about set to start the second half. Cats have shot it very well. Vanderbilt has been challenged offensively, to put it mildly. Reese Davis, Bob Knight with you as the Commodores hit a couple of threes late in the first half, trying to cut the margin closer and trying to stay in the game. So as we look ahead to the second half against this young, athletic Kentucky team defensively, what can Vanderbilt do better?
Kentucky set up well defensively. It's almost like a 2-3 zone here in the last. They've dropped off the two guards on top. But the one thing that Vanderbilt's going to get nowhere with is trying to drive in on the bucket against those big guys. What they've got to do, pull up for a short jump shot. Like here would be an example. Now that was an open shot there, but he can get better of it by taking one dribble and in. Now here, that's got to be a shot fake there. And when they make that drive, they've got to look to the side or they've got to stop, because going right now, right there's an open shot. Good shot fake. Now he's got to be looking for somebody, because there are going to be all kinds of guys over it, and he's got to see that.
That was Shelby Moats. Had a shot blocked by three guys. Kentucky's season high for blocked shots is a dozen. They blocked 6 in the first half here against Vanderbilt. Those 12 blocked shots coming earlier against Portland as we were underway in the second half. The Wildcats with the ball and the 11-point lead. Ryan Harrow, who had an excellent first half, turns it over on the first possession of the second half, trying to feed it inside to Willie Cauley-Stein. 9th turnover of the night for the Wildcats. And Kentucky is starting, as is their custom of late. Archie Goodwin, Ryan Harrow in the backcourt, Willie Cauley-Stein, Alex Poitras. A little bit of an up-and-down first half, and Nerlens Noel on the inside. Fuller and Johnson along with Bright, Odom, and Henderson on the floor for Vanderbilt. Pedron Johnson, their leading scorer, misses. Odom comes up with the offensive rebound. Here's Kyle Fuller, who's been pretty quiet, and it's the 7th block shot of the night for the Cats. Noel getting another one.
See, Vanderbilt does a really good job defensively and comes down, and with 10 seconds gone on the shot clock, throws up a three. That's going from good to bad in my thought. Make Kentucky play defense a little bit.
Ryan Harrow now with 13 points. His patience has been exemplary, I think, in this game so far.
His patience and his vision. He stops, he pulls up, he sees what's going on, he looks and he sees. There's a big difference between looking and seeing, and he's a kid that looks and then he sees. Watch him guard play here.
Bright shooting on the front of the rim. Goodwin with the rebound.
That's still not a good shot. You know, that's a shot on the move, going right-handed shooter going left. He's really got to take time to get squared up.
Arrow shooting from the corner. Cauley Stein, offensive rebound, and the stick back.
See, that's another area that we haven't talked about. They've got 3 big kids that can really rebound offensively. They don't all have to be in there at the same time. But a missed shot coming off the glass is an offensive opportunity for Kentucky, much more than it is for Vanderbilt.
Kyle Fuller is a rim out. Bright has been active tonight. He had it for a moment and had it knocked free. Then we had a whistle as Cauley Stein hits the deck.
They got the 3 going with 2 huge baskets, as you noted, Reese, at the end of the first half. Now I think they've missed either 3 or 4 in a row to start the second half here at Vanderbilt.
Calipari is on. Alex Poythress is about giving up a couple of rebounds, so the youngster from not far away in Clarksville is going to have a quick seat as Julius Mays returns. That foul, by the way, was called on Noel. It's his second.
See, that's the thing that Calipari does as well as anybody in coaching. He makes these kids listen, and when a kid makes a mistake, he says something to the kid. I mean, it's really important that you let kids know when they've made a mistake. And he does a really, really good job of that, I think. And that's why he's got kids that are hustling and really working hard.
Fuller knocked down the 3 to make it 12. Now, here's what you're talking about, Bob. Calipari looking to Alex Poythress as he comes to the bench.
Yeah, like what are you doing down there? But no, as you watch him over the game, kids make a bad mistake or lack of judgment. Well, he lets them know it's not okay. That's okay. It's, hey, what are you doing out there? That's not what we want. And to me, that's what coaching is. A big part of coaching is making sure that kids know when they've made mistakes and don't be hesitant in letting them know they've made mistakes. Because, Johnny, that's okay. It isn't okay. Johnny, that's a bad move. And it was a bad move, so don't say it's okay.
Well, he was still giving it to Alex on the side. And Poythress has become an individual project for Calipari. I mean, as all the players are in basketball for sure, but this is a high potential, high ceiling guy. Calipari's been working with him individually, and depending on how hard Alex works, depends on how long the session goes, particularly during the time when there were no classes for Kentucky over the last few weeks. One of the interesting things that Kentucky does is they put this belt on their players. Some of them actually wear it in the games, and they can monitor their exertion rate and sort of show them in a digital way as Noel's working inside and has it blocked away by Henderson. Peter Johnson on the move. Vanderbilt thinking about the fast break. Odom, a great shot fake, gets rid of Cauley Stein, but can't hit the shot. And Noel gives it to Harrell, and Kentucky has it back. Mays firing for 3, and he's got it.
See, that's what Kentucky can do. They've got 3 kids that can hit the 3-point shot from outside. And if they've got an opening, now there was no defensive contesting of that shot whatsoever, just an open shot that was hit.
That bucket by Mays, the first points off the bench that Kentucky's had tonight. And Noel is called for the foul, reaching on Henderson. I was talking about the device that many of the Kentucky players wear. It's hooked into a computer, and they can go back and show the players, and I guess as sort of the new wave, new age of players, they can see digitally where their exertion rate is in terms of their heart rate, calories expended, all of that kind of thing, and show them in many cases, in times when they think they're tired and they think they don't have any more to give, that actually there is some more effort to be given.
I used to think that I could tell them what their exertion rate was without all that electricity involved.
Well, you're in touch with saving the earth and the green and so forth. You just did it by your eyesight, right? Strong move to the basket. And the foul is called as Archie Goodwin is knocked to the deck.
I mentioned it in the first half, but I'm really impressed with what Kentucky sees and then what it does. Not just a particular individual like Harrell, but all of them. They had a good opportunity for a drive there, and they get to the free throw line. And this team is going to be good.
Goodwin hits the first. Here's something else. that I think Calipari does a good job of with young players. We saw him do it over the last few years with Terrence Jones, who at times was, early in his career particularly, was frustrating. He put Poitras right back in the game, and now it's Nerlens Noel's turn to incur the wrath. 43-27, biggest lead of the night, and Noel picked up his third foul, so he's going to go sit over with the Kentucky staff for a spell. Keeping Johnson off the window, won't go down. Poitras. Mays wants it in the corner, but Alex now gives it to him. Mays for three. No good. Cauley-Stein gets a hand on it. Now Fuller's on the run. Fuller against Harrell. Mays chasing Fuller to the basket, and he lays it in.
That was by far the best athletic play for Vanderbilt tonight. Fuller on that drive.
Fuller now with 7. Vanderbilt fighting to stay in the game, down by 14. Goodwin driving, spinning, using his muscle, and the Commodores have it. Here comes Fuller again. And the ball gets kicked away. Let's see who hit it last. It's off Kentucky. Vanderbilt to keep it.
That was a very poor offensive possession for Kentucky there. Too hurried, didn't work anything, just threw up the shot and almost gave up a bucket at the other end because of it. That's their worst offensive possession tonight.
Well, Poitras got out of the penalty box and made room for Nerlens Noel. Calipari demonstrating what the youngster did wrong.
He's headed for a big-time year. He's a prime-time performer.
And an exclamation point for Mason Plumlee.
He now knows he's a star.
ESPN's Journey to the Tourney, a season-long spotlight on games that will impact the NCAA tournament. And our journey continues Saturday with an ACC matchup. Mason Plumlee, who is a candidate for the Wooden Award, all kind of Player of the Year honors. He leads Duke against C.J. Leslie in North Carolina State. ESPN's Journey to the Tourney. Number 1 Duke, number 23 NC State, Saturday at noon on ESPN. You can also catch it on Watch ESPN, including Watch ESPN app on your iPad or other mobile device. Kyle Fuller, good look out the Mosley swing it, just held in Jeter, who's checked in, and Jeter leaves it on the front iron. So too does Fuller. Goodwin all the way in, and Kentucky has stretched its lead to 16.
Well, what great body control Goodwin had there. He was going straight up with it, made a little head fake left, and brought his arm to the right. Almost acrobatic.
And Jeter almost walked.
No, he didn't almost. He did. You were close.
So if I'd had the whistle, I should have blown it.
I've never missed a walking violation. In 40 years, I never missed a walking violation.
So to be technically accurate, what I should have said is he was almost called for a walk. Or should have been
Should have been. I'll buy that.
Okay. 45-29. Kentucky has been the far more efficient team offensively. They have 7 more field goals. On 7 field goals, now 6 on 7 fewer attempts.
Now, that's a good drive, but it was also help. That's one of the few times that Kentucky's been inactive with inside help. Neither of the big kids went after the ball coming in down the lane.
Vanderbilt showing some zone now. Kentucky seems to know itself well. It only attempted 11 three-pointers, hit just 2 of them. Goodwin's in the paint again. The tip up by Poitras won't go. Goodwin's still fighting for it, and he puts it home. This is a good-looking, strong freshman guard.
You know, a missed shot with Kentucky, like most really good teams, a missed shot is still a chance to score because of the way they go after the offensive board. It's not a giveaway. If a shot's been missed, it's not a lead pipe cinch that it's going to go to the defense. Got a little holding foul crossing the lane here.
And Poitras grabbed Jeter as he was cutting baseline. That's his 3rd foul.
There's a scrap inside, just like we were talking about. Missed shot. Kentucky goes to the board hard and comes up with a bucket on a missed shot.
Jared Polson checks in. Nerlens Noel is headed for the bench. Kyle Wiltjer will come in to get Alex Poitras.
One of the things that Kentucky has done, they've improved their halftime lead. Reese, I always looked in the first 5 or 6 minutes of the second half have we decreased the deficit or have we improved the lead? So I know that maybe we're playing a little better than the opponent is in the second half, and they've increased this lead here in the second half.
Polson was called for the hold. Another foul on Kentucky. Rod Odom returns for Vanderbilt. Kevin Bright will take a break. Polson got the foul. That'll send him back to the bench. Goodwin and Noel coming back in. Wiltjer going back out. So we've got a revolving door. Last one in. Close the door. Lock it up and let's play.
I didn't think we were necessarily in bad shape if we were tied with somebody and we held that tie, but when you get the lead and then you lose the lead in the second half, that's a bad sign.
Jeter knocks down the running layup. It's 47-33. So did you subscribe to the theory, first 5 minutes of the second half coming out of the locker room of the utmost importance?
I've always thought that, and our players knew I felt that way. The first 5 minutes of the second half, the most important of the game.
Goodwin puts it up top. Noel wanted to flush it. Too many Commodores around. Fuller pushing it. Tries to thread a bounce pass in. And Odom, I thought Rod might have touched that thing on its way out of bounds. And now Michael Roberts and Tony Green are going to get together and discuss it. And Kevin Stallings is trying to tell Roberts, no, he didn't touch it. He didn't touch it. Let's have a look and see if Kevin's trying to... Yeah, I believe that went off Odom, and it did. The officials talked it over, and they got the call right. It's Kentucky's basketball. That was a very difficult, high degree of difficulty on the initial pass that Fuller tried, trying to thread it through a couple of Kentucky guys, and Odom was trying to grab it and couldn't hang on to it. Ryan Harrow shooting.
It's a good move by Vanderbilt. Kevin makes a good move here going in the 2-3 zone, and they played a little bit. But now they're in it. They're really testing Kentucky's ability to get it inside against the zone. And now Kentucky's adopted the three just a little bit. And both of them together are about 5 for 30 on threes so far. A little bit better than that, maybe 28.
The catch it is 2 of 12 from behind the arc. Goes to the ball screen. Johnson turns the corner. Odom's open. It still won't go. Rod's had a tough shooting night. He had a little contact, and foul is going to be called on Jeter.
Well, that was a great defensive possession by Goodwin, how he played the setup for the drive here and got over the screen.
Vanderbilt still sitting in that zone. They could knock down a few shots. They might be able to put a little heat on the Wildcats, who've yet to win a true road game. Another turnover for Kentucky. That's 11. Fuller hit the deck. Another foul is going to be called. The foul is called on Julius Mays. Kentucky up by 14, the under 12-minute media timeout. When we come back from the break, one of the unbeatens in college basketball in a little bit of trouble. It could be a little trouble for a team from the desert. We'll show you when you come back.
Carl Rabbits back at our college basketball studios. Arizona's had several close calls. One they got really lucky on. Should have already had a loss in their resume. They don't, but they may be going down tonight. Oregon, Dominic Artis buries a three. They get a 10-point lead over on ESPN2. Matthew Dellavedova, the Western Conference Player of the Year, ready to go for the Zags. They'll take on St. Mary's. St. Mary's and Gonzaga coming up next. Should be a good one. College Basketball Live follows that after the 11 o'clock tip.
All right, Ravi, we'll look forward to that one. It might be that court design at Oregon that's got Sean Miller's team discombobulated to one of the three unbeaten. In a little bit of trouble. Moats knocks down the three. It's just the third three of the night for Vanderbilt, and the Commodores, who really shot it poorly within 11, over 11 minutes to go. Still in the game. Done a good job on the boards. They're up 5. The rebound margin, they've also taken 14 more shots. Moats now with that three-pointer with a career-high 9 points. So Vanderbilt, who's been out-rebounded on the season, they haven't been a good team on the boards. They're beating the Cats on the glass so far tonight. It's part of the reason that they're at least within striking distance. Cauley Stein had it roll out. Tip no good for Mays, and the Commodores having a chance to get the margin to single digits. Ahead of the field to Jeter. Jeter had to corral it. He kicks it back out to Odom. Here's Moats again. Dejon Parker rolls it in for 3. It's an 8-point game.
Getting interesting now. The big kid at Kentucky has got to learn to go both ways. Catch it. A big kid with how many touchdowns did he score in high school?
He had 16 touchdown catches, did Willie Cauley Stein.
Well, you know, you could have used him to block field goals, too. I mean, at the goalpost.
But maybe he could have blocked a 3-pointer, but not this one from Shelby Moats. Vanderbilt is on an 8-0 run. Dejon Parker, who's had trouble shooting since returning from suspension, gets a friendly Memorial Magic roll. We got a game. Calipari took a timeout to try to stop the Vanderbilt momentum. Commodores scored 8 in a row, shooting it a little bit better from 3 of 6 in this half. It's an 8-point game right now, Bob, and as you look at it, both teams spending a lot of time out behind the arc.
Well, I think a little bit too much for both of them, because right now they're about 5 for 28. But I do think Vanderbilt's switch to the zone has slowed Kentucky down just a little bit. They're dribbling the ball a little bit on top. They've got to flash in and out of the middle a little bit more. The zone has helped Vanderbilt on the defensive board more than their man-to-man did.
Wiltshire missed the 3, and Kentucky's now 2 of 13 as Johnson shoots a brick. Didn't even hit the rim.
See, that shot was taken after 12 seconds, and you've just scored 8 in a row, as you mentioned earlier. Let's see if we do something where we can also draw the foul if we don't get the bucket.
One of the things you'd said in the break, neither team really getting through the free throw line, though neither team has been particularly good at shooting free throws. And that's the first time in the last 3 possessions that either team has had the basketball inside the arc. And it paid off for Rod Odom, as he will get to the free throw line. He's the only Commodore who shot a free throw tonight, and he's hit the only 2 he's taken.
Kentucky at their end needs to get a little bit more movement inside that zone. Somebody comes across and draws a middle defender with him, and then somebody flashes into that vacancy. You need 2 men working against that zone inside. You can even screen down on the middle man and come over top of him, but they've been kind of stagnant, actually, against the zone.
Odom to cut it to 6. He can't get it to go. And let's see who touched it last. Early win off Cauley Stein, and Vanderbilt will have the ball. An opportunity to draw even closer. 5 with a bucket, or perhaps if they knock down another 3, get to within 4. And it's been a long time since the doors have been that close. Dejon Parker, Moats has it inside, and he didn't look at the basket, and that drew a groan from the crowd.
Yeah, I groaned too. He's got to make a move. He had somebody pinned behind him, fake left, go right, or vice versa, and he's either going to go to the line or get a bucket. Get Moats. They don't need Moats out there.
And Parker has it knocked away. Here comes Archie Goodwin, 1-on-2, and he split the defense, and he's fouled on the floor. It's either Johnson or Odom, I think. Let's see who the foul was called on. No, check that. It's Dejon Parker.
I think maybe the Kentucky bench wanted a 2-shot foul, but that's like asking for snow at the equator, I think.
It's the 3rd team foul on Vanderbilt, a long way from shooting free throws for the Wildcats on 9 shooting fouls. Harrell pulls up. He's been quiet of late. Another rebound for the Commodores. It was Jeter. Even Johnson. There's Parker. He hit one from there a minute ago. And now Odom pushed off to get the rebound. He gave Noel a shove in the back. And Ed Corbett caught him. It's Rod's 2nd foul. And Vanderbilt's had a couple of good opportunities to close that gap to 5 or 4 points.
You got to have a lot of dribble penetration into the gaps against the zone, and they're kind of playing outside of it, and they're passing a lot. But people don't realize that the dribble is a real weapon against the zone.
Harrow took a wild shot and missed it. Cauley Stein missed it. Noel's fighting for it. No whistle. Calipari wanted a foul, and instead Michael Roberts calls him for traveling. Harrow got a little cute with that shot. Couldn't get the tip. Paulie Stein couldn't get it.
That's where they've got to pull up for that 8-foot shot when they get in there like that. They're still, this has been a really good move by Coach Stallings going to this zone. See, there's got to be a fake, although he made it, but that's got to be a fake first. And they've done a great job getting back in this game.
Rod Odom with 3, and Vanderbilt within 4. A 12-0 run for the Commodores, and Memorial is alive. Cats need a bucket. Goodwin rolls out, rebounded by Vanderbilt, and the Commodores are doing a great job on the glass. Kedron Johnson, guarded by Poitras. Here's Moats. Driving again. This time he does kick to the open man. Odom again, and he's on the front rim. Jeter fighting for it. He's on the deck with Harrow. Did he get the timeout call? He did. Great hustle play by Sheldon Jeter, the freshman from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania.
Kentucky's got to get a little better spread against that zone. The zone sets up in a 2-3, and Kentucky's pretty tight against the zone. So move out a little bit. There's the hustle play right there. Best hustle play of the game. Move out a little bit in that zone and make them come to you a little bit.
You know, there are a lot of times over the course of a game, sometimes I question players burning a timeout in order just to save a possession. But this late in the game, Vanderbilt with some momentum. I sort of like that. I thought it was good heads-up play by Jeter.
You got 8 minutes to play.
You let it go?
You cut it. No, you cut it to 4. And now if you can get a bucket out of this, then Kentucky begins to worry a little bit. They become a little quicker in what they're doing. They're anxious to get a couple of points, and they can make some mistakes doing that. I think it's a great play made on calling a timeout.
So do I, this juncture of the game. I totally agree. And Jeter, a guy that they've been waiting on to come around, had a good game last time out, and he's played with great effort tonight. The Wildcats are now closing in on 6 minutes between field goals. 0 for 8 from 4 and 3 turnovers, and Vanderbilt trying to get within a single possession. Parker, pull up. Yes!
Well, this has been a great turnaround that the coaches have put together at Vanderbilt. Going to the zone, and I think they probably did it on an experimental basis to see what would happen. And it's been a real problem for Kentucky.
More than 6 minutes without a bucket for the Cats. Goodwin driving, and that was going to be waved off. Odom fouled him before the shot. So Vanderbilt, which came into this game with a 6-6 record, lost to Marist earlier this year, but the Commodores have fought back. They're within 2 of Kentucky. Vanderbilt is the closest they've been since the 16:40 mark of the first half, 47-45, and the zone has worked very well for Kevin Stallings as we go inside the play.
The zone that they've set up at the halftime that Kevin and his assistants have set up has gotten them where they are. Now, the ball's got to now reverse the ball right now, and you've got to have somebody in the corner where you're going to, or on the baseline, so the defense has to come at him so he can get a shot, but they don't fill that baseline down there. Now they've got to go in again, and they take a shot under great pressure. Kentucky has not reacted very well to this zone. You've got to start one way and reverse the ball against the zone. You've got to go into the gaps, bring 2 defensive players to the ball, and then go to either side who's ever open. And you've got to fill the lane when the ball's reversed.
Wildcats will have an opportunity against Stallings' zone here. We presume he'll stay with it. Mays, Noel, Wiltjer, Harrow, and Goodwin on the floor for Kentucky. Odom, Parker, Most, Jeter, and Johnson, and it is the 2-3 zone still. Let's see how they attack it, Bob.
See, just passing against the zone isn't enough. The zone is set up to defend passing, but it's not set up to defend the dribble.
Wiltjer has it in the teeth of the zone. He left the shot in the front of the rim, and Vanderbilt has another rebound. A chance to tie or take the lead, and Vanderbilt has never led in this game. Johnson to the bucket. It counts.
Now, we've seen some lapses here in the second half in the Kentucky help defense, and one right there where when the driver puts the ball on the floor, the entire defense has got to slide toward the direction he's coming and make him get rid of it. And we're going to see nobody really react right there. He gets past everybody, does a really good job going to the bucket.
That might look familiar to both Kentucky and Vanderbilt fans. It was Johnson's drive-in three-point play, though he doesn't finish it here in the SEC Tournament Championship game to put the Commodores ahead to stay. But here it draws the doors even with inside 7 minutes to go. Kentucky still flummoxed by this Vanderbilt zone. Noel has it inside. New Orleans can't get it to go, and Moats has another rebound. Vanderbilt playing with confidence now.
There have been 4 or 5 possessions here, Reese, where Kentucky has been on the bucket with the ball like Vanderbilt was a little while ago and couldn't come out of it with a point, either a foul or a bucket.
A place where Noel had the ball last time is where you want it against his own, isn't it? Right in the middle. Jeter goes baseline for the dunk.
Good look, good move.
Vanderbilt leads for the first time tonight. Noel has it knocked away, and there's a whistle. I think the foul is going to be called on Dejon Parker as we see Johnson find Sheldon Jeter. Jeter coming off a 14-point game against William and Mary. He only has 4 tonight, but a couple of important ones as Nerlens Noel goes to the free throw line, just a 54% shooter on the year.
Well, the only way, and I'm sure that Kentucky just works awfully hard at it, the only way to take a kid who's not a good free throw shooter is try to give him a way to use his hands, to get his head in front of his feet and just shoot free throws and shoot free throws.
Noel hits 1 out of 2. You just saw the free throw percentages for both teams. Vanderbilt is positively dreadful at less than 58%. They've only shot 5 tonight, but they've hit 3 of them. Kentucky is 6 out of 11. 1-point game. Johnson again on the drive. Noel with a block.
Great timing by Noel on that block.
Harrell tried to cross over and he turned it over. 13th turnover of the game for the Cats. Inside 5.5 to go. Odom, baseline, Cauley Stein, I believe, is going to be called for the push.
See, I love that. I love that because now Odom got the ball. Was it Odom that did it? Got the ball, and he had a chance to go over the top or go baseline. He was 10 feet above the baseline, and he automatically drew the foul. That was just a great setup that he had where he received the ball. Watch where he gets it. He's going to be able to go both directions. He look at that space he's got. And when he gets to that baseline on the drive, it's an automatic foul right there. You're going to get it every time.
That's what you're talking about when you try to get teams to run their offense higher.
Right? See, if he caught that down on the baseline, there's no foul because he's only going to have one direction to go.
A grown man rebound from Nerlens Noel as Odom missed the front end of the 1-and-1. Harrell to Wilt. Wilson's an excellent shooter, but he can't get that one to go. Parker, Goodwin chasing it. Odom touched it. I think it was off Odom last. Tony Green said he didn't have a look, neither did Roberts. And then Corbett steps in. And they'll keep it on this end with the Wildcats, and I think that was the right call. I think that one went off.
I'll tell you what, if Corbett makes a call like that, I'd agree with him because he's an excellent, excellent basketball official. And he's a good guy to have in a game.
Nerlens wanted the call, and he was right. Both of them were fighting for the ball. Went off Rod Odom last. Kevin Stallings' team down by as many as 16. Now with a lead. Cats closing in on 9 minutes since they've scored a field goal.
See, now Wiltshire had to try to go to the bucket. Now where they get the 3, it was a good pass out. good setup with the shot, but he's going to have to go to the bucket when he gets it inside.
Harrow hits a huge shot to give Kentucky the lead back. He has 16 points.
I think that's the first three that Kentucky's had in this half, and no more than the second.
Tried to find Moats inside, and the Wildcats have it. Now Harrow with the ball and a 2-point lead inside 4.5. Goodwin driving, puts up a tough shot. Going to be a foul call, and they're going to call Moats for the block.
Ooh, I'd like to see that one again. See if he moves into the driver's path. We'll get a look at it here.
Was received.
I think that he had plenty of time. He was in good position. I don't think that was a particularly good call right there.
It went Goodwin's way.
That being said, this game has been well officiated with a lot of athletes playing.
Goodwin missed the first one. ESPN College Basketball available live anytime, anywhere on your computer, your tablet, your smartphone. WatchESPN.com. You can get the Watch ESPN app. You'll never miss a single thing. Got to have that thing on your iPad. Keep up with games from all over the country as Goodwin hits 1 out of 2, and the Wildcats have their lead back to 3. Goodwin with 12 points tonight for Kentucky.
The move that they used a little while ago to drive on the baseline is something they ought to just be coming right back to. Get that offense up, come up higher, get off that corner.
Parker for 3. Tie game again. How about Deja Parker, the sophomore from Baton Rouge? Johnson almost had a steal and is going to be called for the foul. Edwin Johnson is called for the push. He's got 8 points with Deja Parker all in the second half. A great finish coming.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by T. Rowe Price. Understanding the connections of a complex global economy. Invest with confidence.
In Oregon, the Ducks hanging tough. E.J. Singler will bury a 3, and Oregon's maintained a 10-point lead most of the second half. That's where they are now. They're under the 4-minute break as well. 3:10 to go on ESPN2. But to the delight of the college football coach is staying there. Elias Harris, the two-time all-first-teamer, 2010 and 12. They got 15 minutes to tip there. It's Gonzaga and St. Mary's on ESPN2, followed by College Basketball Live.
All right, guys, so Arizona in trouble, and Alex Poitras shooting the 1-and-1, trying to put Kentucky back on top. The Wildcats at one point in the second half with a 16-point lead on Vanderbilt. The Commodores have erased that, primarily thanks to terrific zone defense, but they've also knocked down a few threes. Dejon Parker's giving them an offensive lift, and Alex Poitras, Kentucky freshman from nearby Clarksville, Tennessee, it's both free throws. Late in the recruiting process for him. Chose Kentucky over Vanderbilt. He's had a little bit of an up and down night tonight, but his 2 free throws give the Cats a 2-point lead. Johnson all the way to the bucket. He ties it.
Well, Johnson really challenged Witcher there, and Witcher just wasn't quick enough. He's going to be taken out of the game here. He wasn't quick enough to slide over and take the path away.
Wilcher now has it. Kentucky probing that zone. Goodwin gets in the middle of it. Active hands from the Commodores. Scramble for the loose ball on the floor. It's going to be a tie-up. And it's going to go this way with Vanderbilt. So 3:18 remaining for Memorial Gym, the SEC on ESPN. Reese Davis, Bob Knight, glad to have you with us. Conference opener for both teams and a great way to start.
Right here, getting Paulie Stein set up on the baseline playing defense and going to him and driving him would be a sure opportunity of getting a score.
Kick out to Odom. Front iron, Vanderbilt has the offensive rebound as Parker chases it down. A fresh 35. Parker explosive to the bucket. Lost a handle on his way up, and the Cats are going the other way. Here comes Harrell. Goodwin. No good. Carly Stein fighting for the offensive rebound. And Shelby Moats has it. Norrell's trying to get it away. Bodies flying, and the Doors have it with inside 3 minutes to go. Parker with the big grab. Perhaps an overly aggressive pass that time. Odom being helped to his feet by the coaching staff. Implored to get back down the floor. Poitras couldn't get it to roll in. He's going to be called for the offensive foul.
Boy, that was the worst movement on offense that Vanderbilt's had. That was a spectacular play that isn't going to come off. Let's just get a good play. Let's come down and make sure that we've got good passes, really good position inside by the big kid drawing the foul. But that was one of those things we talked about earlier. You've got to go up with a 10-foot shot.
That foul on Alex Poitras is his fourth. In recent games, the freshman who had one stretch this year had 4 consecutive 20-point games, including a game we saw in Atlanta in the Champions Classic against Duke. He has struggled, has only 7 points tonight, 6 rebounds, and he's been saddled with 4 fouls, a couple of them of the offensive variety. We've got the mops on the floor to get the sweat off the deck in the final 2:44 of this one.
Vanderbilt just gave up a possession the last time they had the ball. They've got to come out of it with using a little bit more time.
Look at Kentucky's numbers since Vanderbilt went to the zone. 13:48 left in the half.
Yeah.
Now Julius Mays, probably saw he had a shot of it just a minute ago. Julius Mays is checked into the game because Kentucky training staff is working on Archie Goodwin over on the bench. He has a towel over his left leg. They were, I don't know if he got a knee in the thigh or what, but they're working on it right now in hopes of getting him back in the game at crunch time. Mays is on the floor at the moment. Shot clock inside 15.
Go past him, go by him.
Deidre Johnson has to fire up a shot, and it won't go. Moats got a hand on it, and then Harrow took a shot in the midsection as he and Moats were going after the ball. Ed Corbett looked back down Moats' way as if he was afraid he'd missed something. There was no foul call, but Harrow in a tremendous amount of discomfort.
Last couple of possessions that the Commodores have had, they haven't worked their offense where they're in position to get a shot or draw a foul. And that the drive, to me, Reese, at this point in the ball game, every possession has to come down to a drive. Get the offense up high and be able to drive.
I mean, let's see what happened to Harrow if we can. Moats was going after it. Didn't really get a good look. I thought maybe caught a shot in the midsection. He doubled over immediately, but Moats was on the other side of him. Not really sure what happened to Ryan there. Oh, there's the elbow. It kind of caught him right at the bottom of the rib cage. And Ryan's going to take a seat. Now, that's of note for Kentucky because I just mentioned a moment ago that the training staff is working on Archie Goodwin, so both guards have been nicked up in the final moments, and Goodwin is back on the floor now for the Wildcats, replacing Harrow.
Well, not having Harrow in at this part of the ball game with that tie score and 2 minutes left is a very negative thing for the Wildcats. I think they're going to put him back in here pretty quick.
Yeah, he's walking right back toward us right now, Coach. He's Ryan might have had the wind knocked out of him. Still struggling to catch his breath as he sits down on the floor right in front of us. Wiltshire takes a turnaround jumper, and Kyle's had a struggle tonight offensively. He hits a big one here.
You see, Goodwin took the ball to his left and threw it back to his right. And Wiltshire did a nice job of moving in the middle, but taking the ball one way and throwing it back the other way got them open.
Wiltshire's first points gives Kentucky the lead. Jeter, a wild three-point shot, and now Kentucky with 95 seconds remaining has a 2-point lead in the ball. And Julius Mays is going to call a timeout. So the Wildcats take their third timeout. They'll have a couple left in the final 1:31. 2-point lead in the ball. Now, you're in Calipari's seat here. How do you want to attack this zone at this juncture of the game with the lead? You want to get a good shot and kind of put some pressure on Vanderbilt
well,
here.
just what I've been talking about. I think we've got the zone set up, and when we have the zones, when we're going against the zone, we want to try and see if we might get this set where we can see it.
Turn it around here. There.
Yeah,
How about
that'll be all right.
All right.
We want to get the ball. It's got to be dribbled in one direction and brought back the other way and fill this area right here. And never make a pass and a dribble in the same direction because the defense covers that too easily. So you start here, maybe go into the gap, pull him over, step out, maybe make a pass fake, get that guy down here, but take it one way and reverse it. But get the ball high enough so you can fake to the top and go bottom. Or you can fake bottom and come over the top. You've got to have that against the zone now, because if so, then you're going to get a chance to draw a foul or get the bucket.
Getting the zone moving one way rather than allowing them to continue in the directions while you want to move it opposite.
Yeah, don't pass the same direction you dribble.
Goodwin up for Noel on the dunk. A beautiful look from Archie Goodwin, and Noel finishes it, and Kentucky's up by 4. 11.7 rebounds on the night for the big freshman, and now Vanderbilt with the ball, just over a minute to go. Johnson on the drive.
You saw where Goodwin drove from. He was 10 feet above the baseline, and he had a great shot at the middle.
Johnson's got an open look from the corner, and he can't get it to fall. Odom with an offensive rebound and a whistle. And he's fouled on the inside, and if it's Poitras, he'll be done. I believe it is.
Well, they're going to get to the free throw line here, but that was a great opportunity for shot fake and play 5-on-4. So many times that opportunity is there, and the player doesn't take advantage of it. Right here, that's the situation down at the other end where the big kid steps in, really good pass, but they reverse the ball. I was talking about the other end of the floor with Vanderbilt where they had a great shot fake opportunity.
Poitras has fouled out of the game, and I don't think he's aware of it, or he wants to argue the point. He's saying it's 4. We've got him with 5, and Alex with 7 points and 6 rebounds is going to be finished. Calipari thinks it's 4 as well. We'll check with our stats here. We got him at 5. I never argue with our statistician, J.D. Rutledge. He always has the correct number on the foul. He says it's 5 on the freshman. The official scorer agrees. And now Vanderbilt, as I've mentioned several times tonight, struggling from the free throw line all year. They need to make these, and Odom misses again. They're now 3 of 7 on the night from the free throw line. Odom himself is 3 of 6. Johnson's the only other guy to shoot a free throw.
They had such a great comeback in here, and then their offensive possessions have not gotten them a lot here, Reese, in the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Well, Odom makes the second one. It's a one-possession game. Still plenty of time to go. Kentucky with the ball in the lead. Vanderbilt out of that zone now.
Now Kentucky should come up high and drive. Get Wilshire a little bit higher than he is.
Shot clock headed to 10. About an 18-second differential in the game clock, and now Kentucky's going to call a timeout. 25 seconds left in the game, 8 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Don't forget, ESPN Saturday Showcase features an ACC doubleheader. Mason Plumlee and Duke taking on C.J. Leslie and North Carolina State. That will be followed by North Carolina and Florida State. James Michael McAdoo leading the Tar Heels. Tar Heels lost one at home against Miami tonight. Now they go on the road to take on the Seminoles. Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. Duke, NC State, North Carolina, Florida State. It's on ESPN and also live on Watch ESPN. All right, 8 seconds remaining on the shot clock. If you're Vanderbilt, do you stay the man-to-man for the final 8 seconds here, or do you go back and show them the zone?
Well, if they stay in man-to-man or zone, either one, you've got to set your offense up high if you're Kentucky. What you want to do here is take it one way, get the man to slide or get the zone to slide. Either way, get it back quickly and drive the ball. Now, on the drive, you got to be looking if, in this case, one of the big kids from Vanderbilt slides over, somebody fills the lane. So you've got an attack from the opposite side, and they've got time to do that in 8 seconds.
Goodwin will take it out of bounds. Harrell, Wiltshire, Noel, and Mays on the floor with him. Cauley Stein is waiting at the scorer's table to check in. Should there be a stoppage, he would come in for defensive purposes. Harrell has it. Harrell running out of time. Goodwin. They're not going to beat the clock, I don't think. Did he get it off? Vanderbilt wants a shot clock violation. They gave it to him, and Kentucky has the 5-point lead. Stallings is calling a timeout. He is adamant and livid that the shot clock expired before Noel put the ball in the bucket. We'll have another look at it. Stallings incredulous. Very patient possession by the Wildcats. They took it out of bounds with 8 seconds left on the clock and with 15.7, assuming this all stands in it. No reason to think that it won't right now, though the 3 officials are huddling. Kentucky would have a 5-point lead, trying to hang on and get out of Nashville with a victory. Let's take another look at this to see if Noel got the shot off. Now it's at 0.
It's at 0 before he got the shot off.
It appeared from that angle he was still touching, and you see the clock in the middle right of the screen. Noel's up 0. That ball appears to still be in his hand.
Yeah, let's see. Now it's gone. There, it was 1 point something.
And we haven't seen the officials make a move to change their decision, so a fortuitous sort of events for the Wildcats now with a 5-point lead. And Stallings, who's had a really rough season, has a really tough break go against him. Here is Stallings' reaction. Stallings immediately believed it was a shot clock violation, but as it stands, Noel has 13 points and none bigger than the last couple of buckets that he's had, including this one to give the Cats a 5-point lead. Now Vanderbilt's got to hurry. Not a lot of time to wait. Keaton Johnson for 3. He's got it. 2-point game, 7.6 remaining. And Stallings is still mad about the shot clock on the other end.
Did the officials check that?
60 to 58 lead, 7.6 to go. Vanderbilt is going to have to foul. When we come back, we check in quickly with Carl Ravitch.
Well, Stallings pleads his case. One case is now over. Arizona's no longer unbeaten. Down by 4 to Oregon. Looking for a 3 and a foul. They throw up an air ball. Oregon beats Arizona 70 to 66. Singler, good night. 14.7 rebounds, 7 assists. Only 2 unbeatens left.
$60 to 58, Kentucky up by 2, and the difference right now is the last basket by Nerlens Noel. Wildcats are going to have the ball. Vanderbilt will have to foul immediately. This is the shot in question. Kevin Stallings believing there's a shot clock violation. It appears so. It appears that the clock hit 0, but
look at this up here. It just moved, and there was a time. I think that was a different 0 they had out there. See, this said 17-3, and now it's 7-6.
Well, that's, yeah, the previous possession on the 17.3, and we had the possession where Johnson hit the 3-pointer.
But that 17.3 was up there, and the 0 was on the bottom. I don't know what that meant.
Yeah, the 0 was the shot clock.
Well, what was the 17.3?
Game clock. What was remaining in the half.
Okay, well then, so it was. Well, he's talking about getting it up before the shot clock.
Yeah, the shot clock. That's what he was. He thought it was a shot clock violation, and certainly from our vantage point,
it was.
Feared that Stallings had it right. So a timeout called. Kentucky uses its final timeout. The Wildcats with a 60 to 58 lead. 7.6 to go. So neither team a good free throw shooting team. And Kentucky will have to make some free throws. Now you heard the horn go off from the 0, so it's always clock light horn when you look at it, and the buzzer for the shot clock in the shot clock's case. But the ball was inbounded immediately, but Stallings called a timeout.
That was a situation where they had to check it, I thought. I don't think they even checked the time.
We'll see if The officials are in the middle of a hotly contested game. A lot of times we can get them to come over and explain their thinking on it. If we get a chance to do that, we certainly will. They're whistling the teams back on the court now. Tony Green, Ed Corbett, and Mike Roberts. As you mentioned, this has been, for the most part, a well-officiated game, though certainly that last shot has plenty of controversy surrounding it. And Stallings talking to Mike Roberts.
I wonder if they confused the shot clock with the game clock a little bit, the officials. Because as we looked at that, I thought that 0 was there when the ball was still in the hands of the Kentucky shooter.
Maybe they got confused as well. It's tough to get it in bounds. Let's see who touched it last. It goes off of Mays. Vanderbilt has the ball back. Goodman was trying to get it in. The 16th turnover of the night. Mays had it. And it was knocked off of him by Kyle Fuller, and now Vanderbilt will have a chance to tie or take the lead. And the Commodores will take a timeout to try to set a play with 6.7 seconds to go. A 6.7 left. Shelby Moats coming over to the scorers table to check in for the final 6.7. So Bob, as you're listening to the final 6.7, been a long comeback. The Commodores were down 16 in this half. Knocked down a few threes, did a great job on the boards, and used their zone defense very well.
Get one of them to come over, and he didn't. So he's going to come over now. We'll get it. Good guy.
As you see the drives there. I'm going to take off my headset briefly and ask Ed Corbett.
Hey, you guys have looked at the shot clock. Can't look at it? Yes.
All right, Ed Corbett reminding us you can't look at it. He said he can't look at it for the shot clock violation. I'm going to get clarity. I know they can't look at it now.
And if it was a violation, it was a shot clock violation because
Right.
it clearly was not a time violation.
Right. At any rate, Vanderbilt will still have a last chance to tie it, put it in overtime. 6.7 to go. So what are you looking for from the Doors here in the final 6.7?
Well, I think they're going to break somebody into this corner. Right here he comes. And he's going to take a three, I think, to win it. Somebody will.
Roden, Moat, Pedron Johnson for the lead. Runs out. Harrell has the rebound, and Kentucky is going to escape 60 to 58. Johnson had a look at it. A valiant comeback by the Commodores will fall short, and Kentucky gets its first SEC win and its conference opener on the road, 60 to 58. What turned out to be a great finish here in Memorial Gym. Vanderbilt looking for some Memorial magic late, and Kentucky with some really good defense to make it difficult for the Doors.
Well, they got about as good a shot as they could get. Now here again, though, might have had a chance for the shot fake over here. Watch on the reverse. Now he gets it away. Shot fake, and he one dribble, but he may not have had time. It was real close to the buzzer going off on the shot.
The tremendous effort by Archie Goodwin to get a hand on the ball and sort of disrupt that particular play. And Kentucky wins it 60 to 58 to get a win on our Thursday night showcase. Coming up next is Sports Center. For Bob Knight and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Reese Davis saying good night from Nashville. Exhilaration and relief for Ashley Judd as the Wildcats get out of Nashville with a victory. The proceeding has been an exclusive presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader. Here's Sports Center.